Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your presence here and welcome to Akasha and Sons ongoing Tree of Life classes. We are freshly back from Los Angeles, City of Angels. Our event was held in Manhattan Beach. That's one of the beaches that are closer to the airport. So it was just wonderful and convenient, lovely. No, that's my inner tan, darling. And no time for sun tanning. But the weather was lovely. It was during the day. It was nice 25, 22, 25 degrees. And during the evening, it cools down almost to what it is here. But it was wonderful. Had a great crowd turned out, and people traveled in from other areas. We had a new student in from Scotland, and of course, Liam from Ireland, that most of us have come to know and love, was there as well, and many students from across America. And we really have a student body growing in Los Angeles. And I have a feeling, considering it's a city of 10 million people, it will become our largest student body eventually. It's really something. And it was either on Saturday or Sunday when a son came through. He said, all right, we go no further this year without having a theme in our lives. And he said something like, I bet you never thought of having a theme in your life. So he basically said, get with it or don't. And he said our theme was for this year is joy. Nothing less. Yes. Joy. That's the theme we carry in our lives. And so the Los Angeles group responded like that, but then he said to the students, now everyone, in about 3-4 days, many of the students are going to be acquiring the sound files for Los Angeles, and students from all over the world, and they need to know that Los Angeles showed up and is growing a beautiful student body. And so he said something again. He said, let it really, he says, I'll lean over so you can use my microphone. He said, let's have some volume. Our theme for this year is, and then everybody screamed, oh, joy. It was so loud, it almost pulled me back into my body. It was riveting. So it was just a really beautiful weekend, and lots of things came through, and at least 4 or 5 times we reviewed the 33 passages of resurrection, the 33 holy sacred names, each time inviting a lifting and raising activity. And now, of course, just to remind you, we have the full 33 passages of resurrection, and they have been posted in the resource area. You can print them out, and of course Akasha is encouraging each of us to read them inwardly and to breathe in the deep meaning of each of those sacred words, and to think of them as seeds that seek to grow within each of us. Indeed. Akasha has said that she would like the opening meditation to be around her discourse this evening. So I said, what is your discourse? And she said, the power of love. And you want me to take them in a guided meditation on the power of love? She said, yes. Any tips? You'll be fine, she said. All right. So let's make ourselves very comfortable. Let's take a deep breath together. And closing our eyelids, let's begin a gentle journey of withdrawing our attention from the world. Place all the things that you have been focusing your attention upon today, all the things you've been addressing today, place them in the hands of your own great God presence. As we turn our attention into our hearts, in quiet, loving adoration of the mighty spiritual center within our hearts. And a flame abides within the center of our hearts, the great love flame, nurtured and surrounded by the 9 plumes of the Eloah and Mother, Father, God. A flame that we have received, the Master Jesus' lantern of light. And we love and bless the great God flame that abides within our heart. And we call upon that flame to expand and release waves of love throughout our minds, our bodies, and feelings. And up to our great God presence, I am, in deep gratitude for the gift of life. And let us begin a contemplation as we commune inwardly with the great God presence that abides inside us and above us. Our beloved mighty rose presence, I am. We are grateful that we have discovered thy great inner wisdom, the higher knowledge of ancient teachings that reveal that ultimately there is only one law that we are asked to live, to govern our lives by, the law of love. And let's breathe into the question as we ask ourselves deeply and quietly, how well are each of us fulfilling the law of love? And let that question into a sacred space. And let not our intellect answer that question. Rather, simply allow that question to linger within our being and to be an inner force of motivation as we ask ourselves again, how well are each of us living and governing our lives by the law of love? Let's place that question in the sacred space of our heart. And let us remind ourselves again that the higher knowledge, the ancient wisdom, reveals that the one great law our Creator asks us, invites us to fulfill, is the law of love. And as we are in remembrance of this, we too are aware of moments that occur in our lives in which we may not be as loving as we could be. Moments in which the challenges of the outer world can create human anxiety and worry. Yet each of us have been given golden keys. Today we value the many qualities that hold sacred space for love to blossom within each of us. Qualities such as purity and peace and harmony. and we acknowledge our feeling body, our feeling side of life. Where at birth, each of us are gifted 144 qualities of divine love. And oftentimes those qualities of love become covered over with the human qualities of fear and doubt and despair. And we are ever mindful that as we enter the sacred flames of God's source each day, the violet purifying flames, that we invite those precious violet flames to purify, to consume any discord, any fear, that registers inside us. And as those human qualities are purified out from us, we remember the great goddesses, such as the goddess of purity, the goddess of peace, the goddess of harmony. We remember many of the great ascended master ladies who have become such a mighty focus of love in action. Beloved Kuan Yin, beloved Lady Nada, beloved Mother Mary, our own beloved Mother Akasha, the Queen of Light, the great Goddess Charity, and from Venus, the Goddess of Venus herself. And as we remember just a few of these ascended master ladies who have become such a mighty ascended focus of love divine, as we welcome God's purifying flames passing through our minds, bodies, and feelings to dissolve and consume everything that seems to oppose love. We welcome the ascended master ladies to blaze their own qualities of divine love through our feeling side of life, into all the energy around our bodies, into our minds, into the very flesh substance of our physical garments. And as we invite the ascended master mothers, Metta, Vesta, Mary, Akasha, to blaze their own sacred fire love throughout our beings and out into our worlds, we ask them, we invite them, because they have offered their intervention. We invite them to lift us and raise us, lift us and raise us, lift us and raise us by the power of love. Lift us and raise us, lift us and raise us, lift us and raise us by the power of love. Heal and restore us, heal and restore us, heal and restore us by the power of love. As we call upon our own great heart flame, the love flame within our heart, to expand and generate waves and waves and waves of love through our feelings, through our will to be. And liberate every quality of love. To expand and become one with all the thinking processes of our minds. We remember that each of us have been gifted within us Ascended Master intervention, a miracle mantle of love's mastery. And upon that spiritual mantle that is within us and around us are many gifts given to us by the great ascended ones. And we call upon our own love flame to expand and release the power of those gifts that abide upon our own miracle mantle of love's mastery. And as each day we commit ourselves, a covenant, to do the best we can to live and to govern our lives by the one great law, that law being love. Do we view every occurrence in our life, every interaction with the experience side of life, interactions with others, as opportunities to love more? And to love ourselves so complete that we are gentle upon ourselves, we are kind upon ourselves, and that gentleness and kindness we offer to others. We judge not ourselves or others when mistakes are made. Rather, by the power of the sacred fire that abides within us, by the power of love, we lift ourselves. We raise ourselves. And when we need an extra hand, we never fail to remember the angels, the blessed angels, the archangels, the goddesses, the great ascended masters, and great cosmic beings that are all part of our spiritual hierarchy. And as we remember them, we offer ourselves open and receptive, calling upon them to pour their great love rays in us and through us and around us, and lift us and raise us, lift us and raise us, lift us and raise us by the power of love. And when moments occur where challenges are strong and we momentarily forget that we have made a sovereign choice to live and govern our lives by the one great law our Creator asks us to, the law of love. When we momentarily forget, when sometimes appearances of the daily life are too much, then we forgive ourselves. It's the most loving thing to do. We forgive ourselves. We take a deep breath. We are so grateful for the life we've been given and the liberty and the free will for each one to chart a creative course in their life. And all that we have ever been asked is to live and fulfill the one great law, that being love. This is the covenant of resurrection. And from time to time, we love to remember this great truth. We love to constantly encourage ourselves and each other. It is the climb, and we are willing to climb that peak as we welcome love's eternal presence. As every breath of our life, every beat of our heart, moment to moment to moment, I am. By all God's love, I know I am. Love's eternal presence that beats my heart and loves my life free. Deep breath. And moments now before Mother Akasha comes to greet us, as she has requested, we now hold a higher vision for friends, family, and loved ones. As each of us brings to mind and holds in our mind the names or images of 4 to 5 friends, family, and loved ones. And through the grace of God and Mother Akasha's dispensation, each of us are invoking continuously unfolding, miracle-making moments into the lives of all that we hold within our consciousness for the next moment. Remember your loved ones. Hold the higher vision for each of them. Let your mind review their presence. And let us be one as we call forth and hold a vision for continuously unfolding, miracle-making moments in the lives of our loved ones. Deep breath. And for all who have asked their names, their lives, be placed in the healing crystal cup. We as one call forth continuously unfolding, miracle-making moments of healing for all whose names are in the healing cup. Akasha is with you, blessed hearts, as you gently return your attention back into the outer room. May love's eternal presence find within each of you your own soul's melody, and may that melody play throughout your being. God bless you. It has been 20 years since a son brought forward a phrase with explanation, that phrase, human moments. And I dare say that even if you were to speak that phrase to people in the outer world who perhaps have not begun their own great awakening, if you had said to someone who clearly was down on themselves, they recognized that they had made a human mistake, or if they just finished going through something emotionally trying and just lifted themselves out of it, you might say, well, my dear, that was quite a human moment, but you got through it. Most people would understand today how you are using that terminology, human moment. They are not the moments that we are most proud of in life. But as each of you make the climb, the resurrection, as each of you move towards the jewel of your life, the divine I am, as you restore right relationship with your own divine nature, with Mother, Father, God that is infinite, the source of our universe, as you come to a more enlightened relationship with the God presence, the impersonal I am, that the Buddha knows is in every blade of grass, as you elevate yourselves into these more awakened states of consciousness, your own consciousness quite often becomes quite objective. Your own consciousness becomes a silent watcher in these days. And every once in a while you can glimpse your own consciousness saying, oh my goodness, isn't it just amazing that you are yet capable of having a human moment? The closer we get, and the great reunion in becoming our divine self on earth, and the horrifying skeleton of duality and all its rages of good and evil fall away from us. And the daring pursuit of perfection begins the opening of the greatest seed of life, the seed that carries the birth of the tree of life. And that seed made very fertile by all your studies, by all your prayers, by all your contemplations, by all your meditations, by taking up ancient spiritual rites of passage, the likes of which people in the outer world know nothing of. And the most important of those spiritual rites of passage is your own inner ability to enter into the ancient art of decree, whereby you find your courage, you find your will, you find your voice, and with as much feeling as possible, you begin to command life. And that life that you are commanding, in your awakening, you discover is the individualization of God Almighty, the great I Am presence that you have discovered beats your heart and is that presence that stands above your earthly garment as shown in the sacred chart. And passages of days and weeks and months and years. Oh my goodness. If you'd known in the beginning how many days and weeks and months and years that it was going to take to throw off the false sense of self and all its duality, and allow the birthing of your sacred self, your God self, within your earthly embodiment, you may have hesitated if this is really your path. But the hour is too late for that. Covenants have been signed. Efforts you have made. And as I seek to remind you, because it honors you to remind you and to remind yourself. And you can see it plainly when you understand the mass of the people that have no interest in awakening, no interest in improving themselves, who are quite satisfied with the superstitious religious beliefs or educations available in the outer world, all that is tragically influenced by that tree of knowledge of good and evil. And all the time it would take to liberate yourselves. And this you are doing, and you are so close. I dare say that whatever hangs in you and around you and on you, of the old tree of knowledge of good and evil fostered on you by religions and outer world education systems, whatever amount of that is left within you, as the tree of life finds birth within each of you, it will shock your senses how quickly that the fertile spiritual space within your spiritual centers will feed and nurture that tree of life that bears fruit of perfection. How quickly that can unfold in your life. And like those who have gone before you, prophets past, the Christ, the Buddha, makes no difference. Like those who have gone before you and have attained their great freedom from the human octave. Once it's over, having stepped off the wheel of incarnation, thrown off the crucifixion of the human, and you stand at the peak of life, And before you are magnificent valleys of wonder, of Camelot, of fulfillment. Valleys that are ready to show you that when all that you have restored, now you have the power. Now you have the power to constructively manipulate your spirit, your soul, your life into the elements of this planet. You have the power to manipulate substance and matter into living forms of perfect manifestation. This is what waits you. And you take one last glance behind to the world that you have gained your freedom from. And then comes that moment. It's done. It's over. Un consumata. The last words Jesus spoke on the cross. It is done. And in those moments, all those lifetimes of difficulty and hurts and wounds and challenges, all those days, and multiply them by 700, 800, 900, or 1,000 or more lifetimes, it's undone. It's as if it never was. It's like the experience inside you, it's like it was all a dream. Yet a dream that touched you so experientially and readied you and matured you. And out from that, the sacred you came forth. And now you have within you a rich history of passing through passages of darkness and pain and limitation that has been this world's history. And you stand on the other side, glorious being of divine light, of love. Your life is free. And you know all that was, even though it's gone and seems like nothing more than a terrible dream. Yet you know that the jewels of all that experience are dazzling bright in your heart, and you are ready. You are ready for what prophets past have been trying to teach and remedy and remind the people of earth the purpose of life upon this planet and how to begin to once again live not only a constructive life, but how to live a divine life. As a beautiful, blossoming, individualized God being. Lack and limitation no longer your teachers. A new world is ready. This is the seventh golden age. This is what will save this planet. This is what will awaken the billions of the people. This is what will restore the horrific damage that has been done to this planet. This is the healing agency in each of you that you will extend to all the kingdoms of life, the animal kingdoms, the sea kingdom that have suffered so tragically under the influence of humankind. This April, I am promising something. It is a canvas of rebirth. It's the portraiture of your soul that reveals to you the greatest loss in this descent into the darkness on this earth plane. Yes, losing the light of the Father. That was big. But you really didn't realize the depth, because it would go right inside you. The loss of the Heavenly Mother's love. And how that is played out in centuries of lifetimes. And now you are months away, precious hearts. Months away from an intervention that comes from on high. Long before the peoples of earth can even be readied for such intervention. Must be God's temporary teachers that restoration is fully in place. You have all faced, by allowing the light to come back into your lives. You have all faced core perceptions against God the Father. You've healed those perceptions. And what is begging within each of you these days is your total willingness to heal every perception against God the Mother. You will not heal the experiences that come and show you this is acting out, this challenge that you have, this problem that you have. Whether it is with unemployment or supply or getting along with others, it's all showing you the hurts and wounds that you have that are coming up to the surface. The deepest hurt. And sometimes individuals sense that hurt and they can't get into it. They can't get into release it. And anger is born against the hurt. Anger is born against the hurt that is hidden deep within. The anger unresolved becomes rage against the hurt that is so deep. It is so embarrassing. We naturally, in order to survive, we tuck it down in the basement. No, we tuck it down in the earth below the basement of our emotional bodies. Oh, it takes a lot to get that unearthed, to get that to come up. So that when it does come up, you can handle it. But your handling of it, you are not asked to do anything more than be aware of it. And be willing, by divine intervention, by will, and by absolute forgiveness and love, that a power of intervention directly from the Mother's presence of this universe can lift what I have been painting since December, because I seek to ready each of you this coming April, has been the biggest and deepest burden that each of you, that every human being carries. A burden so great that most do not even remember that they buried it underneath the basement of their emotional body. And we must have this conversation, because coming in April by divine intervention is a law of the Mother's presence, and this law is grace. That by the hand of grace upon you, glory is the Father, grace is the Mother. And that by the heart and hand of grace, a power greater than thyself, from the greatest star of our universe, the central sun, can come to you. To each an angel shall come forth. These matters that will lift and raise this burden that has been long-standing sources of deep hurts and wounds, long-standing reason when things happened and you could not even discern what the reasons were that those things happened. This is not going to be a flame that passes through you. This is not going to be a ray of light upon you. This business is serious business and must get done, because each of you have a mantle in this seventh golden age to fulfill the prophecies that suggests that there are those who are coming forth. They are the superheroes of the 22nd to 100th century. They are the untouchables. No hand raised against them. No weapon of war will succeed upon them. Their common enemy, the desecration and aging of bodies that deny the spirit, the life of immortality that seeks to live through them. What is coming this April is an angel. You have discovered in your studies many of those who live in the spiritual hierarchy of your systems of worlds, of your Pleiadian sun, and systems that beyond out in your universe. You have become aware of beings that are not human beings. They have names, and then you had to study and discover who they are. They're the avatars, the immortals, the Chohans, the ascended masters, the great cosmic beings, the archangels, the Kumaras from Venus, and on and on. And then is the heavenly host that serves these great ones. Who standeth between the spiritual hierarchy of great cosmic ascended beings and those who live on earth? Who stands between those two mighty forces of life? One ascended and free, one fallen. Who stands? The angels. The angels. And sent to you she will return on the 28th of April. We will gather before this in a weekend in the Rose City of Calgary, Alberta. And whether you are there or whether you tune into the recordings or put your attention on that weekend, or whether the Academy is able to at least provide a teleconference of the sacred activities that will take place on one of those days, of which I have not even given your messengers yet. It is so important that this student body and all the nations of this world where we have students today focus and gather that weekend in Calgary. And that is for the great preparation. The sacred ceremonies that must take place. The greeting of the divine feminine principle of your heart. The restoration and exaltation of the divine feminine principle of your feeling side of life. The willingness for an entire new spectrum of respect for those who have been bold enough at this time to be born in feminine embodiments. And yet what seeks to be done in April? Your absolute healing of all perception against the greatest focus of love itself, and that focus, and no human opinion is going to change it, that focus is the Heavenly Mother of our universe. Yet all that we will do that weekend is to set the stage. I ask you for your current memories of what you have been studying and hearing. I ask you, whom is visiting me in the great central sun? She is one of your Ascended Master ladies, Mother Mary. And where is she? What area of the great central sun is she? She's in the great, great silence. And what produces the great, great silence? In the great central sun, the heart flames of creation. Mother Mary has been there now for a while. She has rights in her achievements in the house of David. She has rights, and that's R-I-T-E-S. She has rights in her achievement as Archangel Raphael's twin flame. She has rights in her achievement of Mother of Jesus the Christ, and all that took place thereafter, and her own ascension. And she has been called to the great central sun to serve her next gift to life. A request made to her by her own Son, the ascended Jesus Christ. And there Mother Mary gathered in the great silence. She has already done the preliminary work. She's been finishing birthing the release of all disappointments. She's finishing birthing the release of all that has been difficult. Yet there is much greater. For Mother Mary must carry the birth of your freedom from the greatest burden of life. All judgment against the divine feminine. All judgment against the Heavenly Mother. And it is for these reasons alone that each of you, it has not been possible for you to live and fulfill and govern your lives by the one request. The one request. Such freedom has been given this race of people that live on this earth. Only one thing was ever asked. Go forth. Be creative. Expand upon my universe I've created for you. Just live your lives in a state of love. That's the only thing I ask. And don't you understand, precious hearts? When there have been judgments made against love, until those judgments, until those burdens that have been hidden deep in the earth underneath the basement of your emotional body, until those are pulled out, it is impossible to live your life in totality and govern your life in totality by the one great law, that law being love. And can you understand that the challenges that people face in the outer world, they don't even come close to being caused by this burden? The challenges people face in the outer world, that's human creation. That's their own thoughts and feelings and karma and more that is built for centuries and centuries. Your higher Christ consciousness and your Buddha heart needs the full power of love that was granted to each of you in the beginning by the Heavenly Mother. We have got to get that back. A whole weekend is dedicated to the knowing, the study, the revelation, the preparing ourselves psychologically, mentally, physically, that this deepest wound, it is the wound of all wounds, the hurt of all hurts, the burden of all burdens, and you only have a glimpse of how it has played itself out, how it has kept you from thinking as clearly and as astutely and as discerningly as you could have, how it has limited you from loving as intensely as you would have liked to love. And most damaging, how that burden has been a curse on your personal will to create exactly the lives that you desire and require. We will make sure in that weekend, it matters not where you are, is just as long as you all pool your attention together, we are going to make sure that when Mother Mary emerges from the great silence of the great central sun, that she has carried the full burst of this burden out from you. Now hear the magic of life in the following words. Between the days of our weekend in Calgary, you can all look in your calendars, and the 22nd of February, Mother Mary will actually birth. Because you see, precious hearts, I, Akasha, am the oversoul. And only the soul of each of you can look deep in you and see what is hidden. I will open that door for Mother Mary. And Mother Mary has the power. She birthed the King of Kings into this world. She has the power to birth your greatest burden up and out of every one of you. Over the years, I have urged all of you, precious hearts, and especially those of you who have evolved beyond the Catholic Church, knowing the crimes of Rome, I have urged you that even though you may have set aside the Christian church, I urge you not to set aside the lives of Jesus and Mary, and you have not. And with whatever ability that you have to generate love for Mother Mary, I ask that each of you will generate that love for her. She has the right. She has the power. I am opening the door to her that she may reach into the soul of each of you. I remind you, your soul is your greatest power. It is the door to everything that is closed for the people of earth because of what they have done to themselves. It is the source of genius. And when Mother Mary steps back into your earth realm and returns to her home in the upper stratospheres, the higher dimensions of your planet, it will be done. It will all be lifted from you. You see, that's the resurrection. That's why Mary asked years ago. She asked that the consciousness of the crucifixion, of the image of her Son on the cross, that be removed. Many of the Protestant churches, the cross remains the cross and has become the cross of ascension. But not in Rome. Not in many of the Greek Orthodox churches or the churches of England. You yet see a mock-up of the body of Jesus on the cross. It is the burden that the people of earth do not know that they too carry. The most sacred of sacred geometries. The cross, union. And we continue to project the message, and our beloved coordinator in Montreal, beloved Rita, raises this sword again. She is writing to all the cardinals in Rome, take Jesus off the cross. And so, precious hearts, how can we possibly live and govern our lives in accordance to the law of love? Yes, we can do better. We can improve, and you do that. You improve, and you can see the improvements in your own life. And that is right. That's the climb. And sometimes you climb 2 steps up and get knocked back a step, but you keep climbing. And if you keep making that climb, then heaven reaches down to you and says, let me lift your burden. Then we proceed into May and June of this year. And will each of you get good God drenchings every day of the rose-pink flames of divine love? How each of you will just love to spend 5 minutes with the goddess Charity, or Lady Nada, or Kuan Yin, or any of the lady masters from India, beloved Metta, and just call to any of these ascended. Can you imagine that you have called to a Holy Mother's presence? Even Mother Teresa, who is now ascended and free, that you would call to any of the Ascended Master ladies and say, I give you 5 minutes of my time before I go off to work, and I just ask you to shower me with your love, because there is nothing left in me to oppose that love. Here I am. I stand before thee. Shower me with your love. I remember that one amongst you, I do not see the brother in class today. His name is Isaiah. And he had a melody and a melody line in one of his songs. Lift me, raise me, lift me, raise me, lift me, raise me by the one great love. Remember that? What a beautiful melody line. Why not just hum it, just sing it over and over, over and over, over and over. Prepare yourselves. If you say, it is my rightful will to be made whole again, to live my life, to conduct my life, to govern my life by the law of love, and to feel the real source of miracles and healing. Miracles and healing that does not take days and weeks and months and years. Because there is no shadow. Just as there is the shadowless light, there is the shadowless love. It is the love of the Mother's presence. And it is pure grace. It is a love that says to you, I know you think you've hurt and changed, but I see you as pure as the day I created you. That is the grace. And that is the love of the Mother's presence that is waiting for each of you. This is part of the resurrection. Be not like the swamis and gurus of the past who brought down that great nation, India. Be not like those who seek only samadhi or some enlightenment of the mind, while their wretched bodies continue to decay. Your path is complete resurrection. And when the genius of your soul meets the light of your Christ mind, the untouchable, individualized presence of God shall emerge in each of you. And as it does, it has a message for the world. I am here. God bless you, precious hearts. Meanwhile, you do your best. God bless you. I thank you.